I'm Father John Roberts. I'm the rector of the Episcopal Church of the Transfiguration here in Bat Cave, North Carolina. In those early days, I was behind a mudslide. I had super limited reception, and information was coming and going in sort of bits and pieces as you could get it. So there were sort of stories that Lake Lord Dams was collapsing, that Bat Cave and Chimney Rock and all this. So I really had no good idea how many parishioners were affected. In order to initially kind of get down here and assess it, you had to hike in. And when I hiked down and saw what was happening there and realized the basic things that folks didn't have, I mean, there were just tents set up, people were camping on edges of mudslides, using buckets as bathrooms. There was this kind of grassroots organization. I truly took the keys out of my pocket and just gave them to this group. I knew enough to know kind of who they were, to say, you know what, I would rather you all have the keys to this building and make use of it while we can. Very early initially, people were sleeping here, using the church for all kinds of things. Our parish hall has hosted groups from 25 Amish to being just full to the gills with relief hub stuff. More days people have been sleeping and living there than they haven't been since the storm. In the demographics of our parish, we're a small church, maybe have 65. Within sort of our parish rosters, 40-some family units in our church had some to significant damage. 12 family units lost almost everything they own, cars, houses, possessions. We had one parishioner that has died immediately in the storm. We've had 6 families leave the region because it's just been too much to rebuild or lack of access. So February 23rd was our first service back here. And well, there was such a feeling of joy to be back together as a community. On the other hand, it was the first time a lot of parishioners had driven through Chimney Rock and some areas of Lake Lord and Bat Cave and seen any of this. And there were also people showing up in tears because it was the first time they had seen the devastation. What I think we're really committed to is when we can be and safely be here, we are going to continue to be bearing witness to God in this gorge. We're going to bear witness to the faithfulness of God in past, present, and future. And if it's simply by just showing up here and being in our pews and naming that this is a spot still for beauty and welcome, we're going to do it. So I can't believe that it has been almost a year since the hurricane. In some ways, when I've been thinking about it, it's down here, at least in Bat Cave, it's almost hard to remember what life was like before the storm, just because it has so fundamentally shifted kind of who we are. And yet, at the other hand, things definitely have progressed and changed, transfigured since then. So since the early days of the storm, we've tried to make sure our buildings and our property is used for whoever needs it most, particularly around shelter, but also rebuilding efforts. So we were blessed several years ago with this large donation of this tract of land next to the church property. And there's a story where all the trees came down and it felt really devastated, but then slowly over time with some of the relief groups that have been working down here, the wood was used for rebuilding efforts. That was all milled from our trees with Amish volunteer groups that were sleeping in the church. And then even recently, we have parishioners who are working to rebuild a shop in Chimney Rock that just reopened a few weeks ago, and all the shelves in their shop are wood from our Transfiguration property. But as the wood got cleared out, then the land was able to be used for rebuilding efforts for Bat Cave disaster, as well as some other groups that have used it to store their heavy equipment, materials that are donated. So one of the initiatives we're really thankful for, and this is in partnership with funds curated by the diocese through Episcopal Relief and Development, but is being able to open a laundry facility here at the church. There was the old rectory, so there was a pretty good sized laundry room, mudroom area, but we're using the funds to expand that, to put more washers and dryers, to make it actually a beautiful space that's open 24/7, that's secure and safe. We still have neighbors using the bathroom in buckets. We still have people that, of course, have no access to laundry. So I'm thankful that the grounds and buildings are continuing being used. It continues to be such an honor to serve at Transfiguration, to be a presence down here, to continue to bear witness to the continuing changes and ways that we've had to react and respond to the needs around us as a church. And I just have to say, folks that are still able to come, the kind of core folks that are here at the church are doing so much. When people have asked how they can support us as a congregation and as a church, one of the biggest ways, as I keep saying, is just to know we're not alone, a relationship, to know that after a year where so much, thanks be to God, but so much of Western North Carolina has started to recover or resume some normalcy, that our normalcy is still at this level. We have not kind of resumed what life was. It looks different. It'll always look different down here for decades to come. So I think our call for our church continues to not only try to be physically present in our space, to try to help connect resources when we can, but it's that continued ministry of presence, which follows the example of Jesus and his followers, being present with each other in times of struggle, in times of goodness, to bear witness to what we've seen, the hurt, and the continuing challenge as people are rebuilding their lives.